Hello, I'm back at episode number 300, and I think it's 84 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be SmackDown for July Week 2, 2023, as we continue the build to Evolution and King of the Ring next weekend. We now know the Raw finals for each tournament, the King and Queen of the Ring. We're going to find out the SmackDown finals tonight, with the men's King of the Ring SmackDown semi-finals being LA Knight against Bronson Steiner, and Seth Rollins against Nathan Frazer. And then for the Queen of the Ring, it's Lyra Valkyria against Asuka, and current tag team partners, Liv Morgan and Hikaru Shida, going at it. That match is actually going to be the main event. I've taken a risk, put that match on last, let's see how they do, because I just think it's the most interesting match. We also have United States Championship on the line, Pete Dunne against Karrion Kross. We have David Mato against Omos, and we have Io Sky against Chelsea Green. That's the all 7 matches announced for the show. Without any more further ado, though, let's jump straight into tonight's show. We kick off with Dolph Ziggler. He comes to the ring. Following the end of last week, we had that commotion involving him, Damian Priest, and Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. And Dolph Ziggler comes to the ring, and he's like, last week I got involved in DP's business. DP, he was doing his own thing. And us in the grand jury, we stick by each other. And I just didn't want him to, cause a commotion in the main event. And that's exactly what he did. And I took the brunt of it because Ilya dropped me with that Torpedo Moscow, a move I never want to have to take again, if I'm quite honest. But, haven't been able to reach DP all week. So, if he wants to come out here in front of the world and we can, hash things out and things can be better than ever amongst the grand jury. Instead of Damian Priest, out comes Ilya Dragunov. And he goes, Dolph, I know that you want to hash things out with Damian Priest. I know he's your stablemate and your friend, which is why I'm coming out here and I'm giving you warning. Don't bother. You see, I need to get my hands on Damian Priest for what he did last week, costing me the World Heavyweight Championship. I'd be the World Heavyweight Champion right now if it wasn't for Damian Priest. And if you want to keep defending your guy, your boy, Dolph, then I'll just go through you yet again. And Dolph goes, well, I thought we had no issue here. Okay, I thought the issue was between me and DP and you and DP, but if you want to make this a problem, Ilya, I can make it a damn problem for you because I'm Dolph Ziggler, damn it. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams interrupt, and he's like, whoa, listen, boys, come on. Okay, listen, I know everybody wants a shot at the king, okay, because I'm the king, I've got the crown, and this is my crown. And I see Dolph Ziggler, when I first came here to SmackDown, you're the very first guy that I beat. And I sure would love to beat your ass again. Ilya, I beat you. And, Damian Priest, wherever he's at, he got beat by Ilya. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, none of you are next in line for my championship. You talk your talk, Melo. Because, and as far as King of the Ring goes, I'ma defend my title on that night. But if you two ain't gonna keep moaning, and DP, as you call him, is gonna keep sticking his nose in the champ's business, okay, then maybe it is champ business to put you all in the same ring and beat y'all at the same damn time. So, you want to go to Rome? I'll take your ass to Rome, because you, Dolph Ziggler, and you, Ilya, and you can go and tell old Damian Priest that we're having ourselves a fatal 4-way at King of the Ring. That's it, Melo. You talk your talk. Champ shit, Melo. Let's go. And then Ziggler goes, well, I'm not going to say no to a championship match. I've somehow got myself roped into a championship defense, and, I know me and DP may be friends, but if it comes to me and him, I'm sure he'll understand if I kick his head off and take your title. And he goes, don't be so sure, Ziggler, because you have led a gladiator into the Colosseum. And there's only one man who is intense enough to fight 3 men off at the same time, and that's me. So yeah, big fatal 4-way match announced for King of the Ring. Carmelo Hayes will defend the belt against Ilya Dragunov, Dolph Ziggler, and Damian Priest. Yeah, should be a fun one, that one. We then open the show. I'm so glad this did well. That actually plays so well into the story. We start off the show with a 90 rated Queen of the Ring match. It's Asuka against Lyra Valkyria. Lyra gets a 72, Asuka gets a 97. And this is a SmackDown semi-final. The winner of this faces the winner of the main event at Evolution in the SmackDown final of Queen of the Ring. And Lyra, comes into this match heavily the underdog, not just because she's against Asuka, but because she didn't technically beat Bayley last week, because Dakota came in and got her DQ'd, and she won by DQ. So she's got a lot to prove. She's got a chip on her shoulder here tonight. And it's a tough route to the final, having to go through Bayley and to go through Asuka. And she does put up a very good fight, but in the end, she is defeated in 13:55 by a spin kick. And Asuka advances to the SmackDown, well, not the overall final, the SmackDown final of Queen of the Ring, where she'll face either Hikaru Shida or Liv Morgan. Asuka gets a 97 and a 72 for Lyra. Got great chemistry, so that's important to note. And yeah, I'm so glad this did great, because the whole story I was going to I wanted to tell in this match was Lyra, didn't get hit fairly because she beat Bayley by DQ, but she hung in there with Asuka, and maybe even as Lyra's getting to her feet after the match, Asuka will just look at her and smile or something, however Asuka would give respect without breaking character. We then head back, and we see Maria just standing around, and she's like, "Are you sure this is gonna work?" And guys are like, "See." She's holding a sign, waiting for Dexter. And she sees random people walk past, "Have you seen Dexter Lumis?" I'm like, "No, I haven't seen Dexter Lumis." And then Gaza, after a couple of people to say no, they haven't seen him, he comes, he goes, "Where is this man, huh? What does he want from me, okay? He helped me paint a picture of my white whale, and now he wants to take it out on me. What's this guy's problem?" And he turns around and Dexter's there face to face with him. He goes, "Hey, Dexter." And Dexter just puts his hand out, like he's waiting for Gaza to put something in his hand. And he's like, "What?" And then Dexter just looks down at his hand, and then looks back at Gaza and looks back down at his hand. And then Maria's like, "Angel, how much did you pay this guy to paint this picture for you?" And he's like, "Pay? Why would I pay him?" And Maria goes, "Why would you? Because he's doing you a favor. Why would you not pay him?" And he goes, "Listen, there must have been a bit of a misunderstanding." And then Dexter once again puts him to sleep with the choke. And Maria, I guess, runs off to go and get help. But Dexter chokes out Angel Garza. May have finally found out what he wants from Garza, because apparently Garza didn't pay him to draw that picture of his white whale. We then see Daniel Bryan in the back by himself, when Owens and Zayn walk up. And they go, "So, it's official, we're running the clock back, all Ring of Honor days at King of the Ring, us for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships." Bryan goes, "Yeah, and there was 4 great teams in that match, but I'm glad you guys won, because it was the match I was most looking forward to, us 4 back in the ring, this time on international soil, for these SmackDown Tag Team Championships." And Sammy looks around and he goes, "Well, I don't see Cesaro around here anywhere, but when you see him, tell him, we said good luck and made the best team win." And then Owens and Zayn walk off, and Bryan's just there shaking his head. And Cesaro walks up to him, he's drinking a coffee, he's wearing a suit, and he's like, "Where have you been?" And he goes, "I was just getting a coffee." And he goes, "Well, you haven't been here all day. Is this because of Heyman? Is this, what did Heyman say to you last week?" So I goes, "Relax, this has nothing to do with Bryan, I'm here, look, I'm here." Bryan goes, well what are you and you don't go scheming with Paul Heyman." He goes, "I'm not scheming. He made a good proposition to me." And Bryan goes, "Well, what was it?" And he goes, I can't tell you. Brian goes, of course, yeah, of course. You know, as tag team partners and as friends, you're supposed to have my back. And Brian just sort of walks off, and Cesaro's just there, like, sipping his coffee. Like, well, fuck. 77, holy shit. Why did this overperform so much? David Martin against Omos gets a 77, but in the end it is David Martin who comes up short. Omos puts him down with a chokeslam in 8:17. 67 for David Martin, 76 for Omos. And yeah, randomly overachieved. And then after the match, Bivens orders, Omos to continue the attack on David Martin. He picks him up for another double chokeslam. That's when Edris and Malik and Violet run out. They like chop behind of Logan. What the fuck was I going to say? Logan. Omos his legs, and yeah, they ground the Nigerian giant. And David Martin, like while Omos is on his knees, like starts railing kicks in on him. And that's when Veer and Sanga run out. And then David turns around. He gets wiped out by a clothesline by Veer. And Omos, or not, Bivens, like gets in Sanga's face. He goes, "Come here, big boy. You need to take these guys out. Okay, Veer's already unloaded on their ass. Now it's time for you to finish the deal." And he slaps Sanga in the face. And then Sanga goes all beast mode. He gets ready to do a double chokeslam on Edris and Malik. And then Violet Martin comes in, hits him with a low blow. And then Indy runs out from the back. She's like, "What are you doing, huh? Like, leave him alone, okay?" And then shoves Violet to the floor. It's like, "You okay, Sanga?" She's like, I'm good. And then she turns around, she boots Violet Martin. And sort of looks across at Bivens, and Bivens is laughing. And Indy's like, just shrugs her shoulders and walks out. You go from that to, we see Florence in the locker room when Dakota Kai walks in. And she's like, "Relax, I know we've had a thing in the past, but, I just like to come in and say, good job on winning Money in the Bank. And sure, could have been a completely different match, if I'm honest, because I should have won that briefcase, and if it wasn't because of Bailey, I would have. Well, jealous friends, you know how it be." And Francis is like, oh, really? I mean, I get it that you feel like you were robbed out of this briefcase, but come on. It was always going to be mine. And Dakota's like, "Well, I guess we'll never know. But I just wanted to stop by and say that, as much as I may wish I had that case, no hard feelings between you and I." And then Ruby Riot, she's like, "Oh, no hard feelings. Like, come on, you two are supposed to be two of the top, most dangerous women on this roster, yet you're coming here, buddy, kissing ass, okay? Who did that ever benefit? Okay? I've had my days of being a good girl. They're long behind me, okay? And quite frankly, now I know that doing this doesn't get you anywhere, so may as well be a bit of a bitch if it means getting a step ahead, and winning Florence's respect does not benefit my career in any way, but, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, you could say, and two bad bitches gotta stick together." And that's when Bailey runs in. She jumps Dakota Kai, and Ruby beats up Florence, and the two heels just beat up the two babyface women. And Bailey goes, "Ding dong, dummy, you thought you were gonna win that case, huh? You're not good enough to win that briefcase, okay, because you got lucky when you were the SmackDown Women's Champion. If it wasn't for me, you'd be irrelevant, okay? Learn some respect, because if I can't have that briefcase, nobody can. Because you're not in control, Dakota. I am." And she slams down and walks off. Not with Ruby, like, we want to make it established that they're not actually a pairing. It's just a case of, like, these two are heels and they're both feuding with these two baby faces, so they sort of temporarily aligned. We then cut back to the ring. Bobby Fish is in there. "I beat Bray Wyatt twice, where's the lie?" All that. And he goes, "I mean, last week you all saw a flimsy lie detector test from me, because I did beat Bray Wyatt twice, and nobody can take those wins away from me, okay? 2 weeks ago, I had him submitting in this ring. Where's the goddamn lie? You can't find the lie, okay? But now, this week, it's Bobby Fish show, because there's no Bray Wyatt in sight, because he's too much of a coward to confront the man who beat him not once, but twice. And I mean, folks, where's the lie? Instead of Bray Wyatt, though, out come Uncle Howdy and Susanna. And they get in his face. And Susanna's like, "Excuse me? You know Bray?" And Fish goes, Why, I know Bray Wyatt very well. Yes, I've beaten that man twice, okay? And then Susanna goes, "Well, if you know Bray, can you tell us where he is? Because we really miss him. His friends really miss him." And then on the Titantron, they'd be like the Firefly Funhouse with all the like they're the puppets, not the people versions, just jumping around, going, "Come on, where's Bray, dude? Come on!" And we need him to come home. He needs to stop fighting who he really is and embrace what he is. Revel in what he is. And then once we all come together, the world shall be free from all this struggle, and we'll be reunited once again, a full family. Bobby's like, "Okay, well, if you're done with this, like, you're sort of like Bray Wyatt guys, so like, well, if I beat you, you know, maybe that'll bring Bray Wyatt back to me. And I mean, folks, where's the..." Then he like smashes the microphone on Uncle Howdy's head, but he no-sells it. And then Bobby Fish tries to run away, but Uncle Howdy grabs him and hits him with his sister Abigail. And then the lights go off and they're gone, and Bobby Fish is there, laid out, once again. We then see a clip of like a private jet of Tony D and the family. He goes, "Well, we didn't think that with King of the Ring in Italy next weekend that the family weren't going to be on their way, the private jet to go home. Come on, listen here. Okay, of course, if King of the Ring's coming to Rome, Tony D and the family, they're going to be present at the show. And I know just the thing that we're going to do, because last week, some knucklehead, some wise guy, Matt Riddle, got all up in our business. Okay? Capiche? So, in Rome, the land of the Tony D and the family, we're going to shut his dumb ass up. Capiche? Now, no more of this wise guy running around here disrespecting us. Because this is our home and our show. The family show. And just like Cash, we're going to be a real big problem." $82. That's fine, I guess. Yeah. LA Knight and Bronson Steiner for the King of the Ring semi-final. On the SmackDown side, Bronson Steiner, of course, dominating. He's been, since he became Bronson Steiner again, he's been on top of the world, ripping through people. He ripped through Matt Riddle and all sorts, and he's dominating. He can be the one to break hearts and end LA Knight's run as the King of the Ring. He takes him down with a big spear, like turns him inside out of a spear, as only Bronson Steiner can. And then Scott signs off ring, so he goes, Bronson! He like signals for the Steiner recliner. And then Bronson Steiner, he's in the corner. He like does a break taunt, like he's gonna like Rusev Crush, but like not exactly the same, but like he does some sort of like break taunt before he goes to lock in the Steiner recliner.
For he is limitless.
When out storms Sir Keith Lee, He's there. He's got his fucking thing. You know the thing I mean. The thing that nobody knows the name of. That he brought to the ring to come fight Swerve on AEW. He's got that over his shoulder. And Bronson Steiner's distracted. He turns around. And he's laid out with that blunt force trauma. And LA Knight pins Bronson Steiner to advance to the SmackDown King of the Ring final. 85 for LA Knight, 80 for Bronson Steiner. And then after the match, Keith enters the ring. Scott Steiner shitting himself, Bronson Steiner shitting himself. Keith's got that big, I don't know the name of it, but the thing like the straps in. Yeah, he's got that, and he's gonna throw it at Bronson Steiner, but Bronson Steiner avoids, and it just goes tumbling out to the ringside. And then Keith does grab Scott and hits him with the Big Bang Catastrophe as Bronson Steiner escapes. And Big Keith is back. You haven't seen him in 2 months since Bronson turned on him, I think, at Judgment Day. But he's back here for vengeance. He's just cost Bronson Steiner King in the Ring. We then see Candice. She's like on the phone. She's talking. She goes, I know, I mean, like, EO's here tonight. I'm gonna make it out for her tonight. Let me hear on the other end of the phone is Johnny Gargano. He goes, well, you know, if EO really wants to test you as a champion, you know, you gotta make sure you're prepared. You gotta make sure you bring the fight to her. So, if you go to your locker room, you know, I left a little gift for you to use tonight, and I'm sure it will help you teach EO that you don't mean to take this lightly, and you do mean business at Evolution. Candice goes, well, great, I'll go check it out now. And she opens the locker room door, and there, just sat in the middle of the floor, is a kendo stick. And Candice, she walks up to it, she picks it up. It's got a tag on it, says from Johnny and Quill. And she's like, just chuckles to herself as she plays around with it in her hands. Then cut to Kayla Braxton and her guests, The Revolution. She says, last week, Yuffie made an emphatic return to SmackDown. And Buster goes, I'm going to cut you off, Kayla. You said it best there. Return to SmackDown, okay? Why? Okay, I'm going to tell you now. I wasn't hurt. Nebo weren't hurt. Rufus weren't hurt. So why was it a return, Kayla? Well, there are multiple options. Either we could be busy being the megastars we are, which, unfortunately, this time that wasn't the case either. Or we were being purposefully withheld from SmackDown by somebody on this show with an agenda. Okay? And I know who that person is, Kayla. And Kayla's like, well, you're gonna tell us? Buster goes, why would I tell you, okay? Why would I give away the game plan right in front of the world, okay? I'm going to tell you this. We already beat New Day at WrestleMania. Keep taking us lightly, and we'll see where it gets you. Because this revolution will be televised in glorious 4K right here on Fox. 70, sure. EO and Chelsea. 6:45, EO wins with a moonsault. Just to give her a match, to give her a win before Revolution. 95 for EO, 51 for Chelsea Green. And then after the match, out storms Candice with the kendo stick. And she swings at EO, probably gets 1 or 2 shots in on her before Cammy pulls her away. And then I imagine the scene would be Cammy and EO run through the crowd and run up the steps and stand at the top of the steps, watching into the ring at Candice, who's waving the stick at her. Then from behind, Chelsea Green turns Candice around and gets in her face and goes, "What are you doing out here? Okay, this is my match. Okay, you're getting involved in my business. Pierce. I'm gonna go backstage. I'm gonna have a word with Adam Pierce. He's not gonna be happy about this. Okay, this is my match. I got this opportunity." And Candice just sort of just looks away, chuckles to herself. And then as Chelsea goes to leave, Candice whacks her with the kendo stick, just completely fucking just keeps wailing in on Chelsea Green, screaming in pain, and Candice keeps just smacking, occasionally looking up at EO and Cammy, looking off with an insane, like, sort of angry look. Occasionally points the stick at them, and like, "This'll be you, bitch." And then you can see some look of concern on Io's face and Cammy's face as Candice, finally hits that lion salt on Chelsea Green, holds her belt up high. Yeah. The vicious side of Candice LeRae coming out here tonight ahead of this big match at Evolution. We then see Chase Yu stuck in Fallon Henley's bar. I imagine it's all sorts of things, like Haley's just there, probably like exhausted at the counter. Shane's there, probably behind the counter, like getting drinks and shit. And Andre Chase is just there defeated. He goes, "How do we get out of here? Okay, the door's locked. And they're probably, who knows what those two witches are doing at Chase University right now. I dread to think." And Fia's like, "Don't worry, Mr. Chase. I'll find a way out of here. What if we just bust the door down? I'll charge at the door full speed, and I'll tackle the door to the floor." And Chase goes, "No, it's not going to work, Fia. You're too light." And then Shane just said, he goes, "What if Bodhi uses his head?" And Andre Chase goes, "Bodhi, come here." He's like, "Yes, Mr. Chase." He goes, "Come here. Charge head first, right through that door, Bodhi. I believe in you. I'll give you an A grade for the rest of the semester if you can get us out of here." And he goes, "Okie dokie, Mr. Chase." Charges full speed into the door, and the door he just smacks into the door. And he goes, "Ow. Mr. Chase, what the hell?" He goes, "Right. New plan." Okay. And then he tries to smash windows. The windows like, "Don't smash." And then he goes, "Right, Shane, I want you to shoulder charge right into that door. Maybe with all of our full weight, we can knock that door down." And then as all four of them go to like charge at the door just gets opened by some random old man. He goes, "Whoa, what's going on here? I didn't realize we had guests." And he's like, "Who are you?" He goes, "Why, I own this bar, Mr. Henley." He goes, "Mr. Henley, I forgot you're back. I mean, you're not aware that your bar has been overtaken by witches over the last months." And he goes, "Witches? Don't be so silly. I was here like last week. Or last month." He's like, "Last month?" But then Thea was... Anyway, all that matters is that we're free. Okay? Boys, girls, let's go save Chase University. And they run off into the distance, go, "Chase you, Chase you, Chase you." But then Bodhi's still laid out on the floor. He's like, "Ah." He's like, "Whoa, you alright there, son? Here, have an ice pack." It's like, "Thank you, old man." And then he gets up and he runs off going, "Chase you, Chase you, Chase you." So, Chase you, finally free, could have broken them out in a serious manner, but the whole point of the entire story so far has been, anticlimax, because that's funny, because it's Chase you. So, Fallon Henley's dad's back and he opened the door to the barn, and now they're all out. And now they're going to go hunt those witches that have taken over Chase U. 85. Karrion Kross delivering a banger here. But of course, Karrion Kross isn't beating Pete Dunne for the US title. Karrion loses in 12:01 to the Bitterette to make defense number 1 of the US title over Pete Dunne. He gets an 88 and a 75 for Mr. Cold Steel himself, Karrion Kross. Yeah, actually a pretty good match, Karrion. He played his part. That's all I can say about him. Then see Swerve. Speaking of the US title, the former champ, Swerve. He's in the Hit Row studio, but he's just leaning back on his chair, like just out of it. And then Top Dollar, Shani, and Beef are doing their thing in the studio behind him, and he comes and goes, "What do you think of that one, Swerve?" And he's like, "Pete Dunne." And then Top Dollar's like, "Pete? What about Pete Dunne? We mean the rap we just did." And Swerve goes, "Pete Dunne. He has what I have. I couldn't win King of the Ring, so I'm getting my championship back." And Shani's like, "But what about Hit Row here?" And Swerve goes, "Hit Row can wait. Do you boys have my back or not? Because I'm fine going out there and doing it by myself." And Tabla's like, "We have your back, Swerve. Like, we're brothers." He's like, "Good." because next week I'm gonna call out Pete Dunne and I'll get back my championship. But then cut from that to also off-site Tiffany Stratton in a shopping mall with Mariah May and her cameraman. She's like, can you believe this? Okay, first of all, I get eliminated from Queen of the Ring, okay? I'm supposed to be the Queen of the Ring because, Queen of the Ring is the center of everything and the entire universe does revolve around me. But I'm, so totally out of it. And then I hear, we're going to Paris? Paris, the fashion capital of the world, and there's no room for me? Little old moi? This is... Ew. Okay, you've got idiots up and down the show. People like Asuka, and Liv Morgan, and Hikaru Shida. They all get little appearances on the show. Little old Candice gets on the show, But not me. Miss Tiffany Stratton, the beautiful blonde Barbie bombshell that I am, doesn't get to go to the Paris? Well, I'm going to Paris. I don't care. So we're here, Evolution Shopping Mall, okay? We're gonna get the finest fits that'll fit right in at Fashion Week in Paris. And Mariah, you can come too, Esteban. Get my good side, okay? Because the Tiffy World Tour, the Tiffy Takeover, doesn't stop at this country. We're going global. And I'll see all my little Tiffy fans in Paris next weekend. Toodles. So yeah, not having Tiffany on Evolution, especially when it's in Paris, felt like a missed opportunity. So of course, she's getting on that show, and we don't know what she's doing, but she'll be there. She'll be doing something. Yeah, 76. This is why I didn't put it on the main event, because I knew they didn't have very good chemistry. Because they didn't click, and I put it in, and it said, they have bad chemistry. I was like, oh fuck, yeah they do. But it's Seth Rollins and Nathan Fraser, number 2. Rematch from the SmackDown after WrestleMania, where Nathan Fraser beat Seth Rollins in his debut. But this time, lightning does not strike twice, because Seth Rollins does curb stomp his student into the ground in 13:39 to advance through the SmackDown final of King of the Ring. Seth gets an 84 and a 56 for Nathan Fraser, and we now have our final 4. The Raw final of King of the Ring, as we learned on Monday, will be Logan Paul taking on Randy Orton. And we now know the SmackDown final will be Seth freaking Rollins against LA Knight. And one of those 4 men will become the King of the Ring. We then cut back to Seth. He's and Caleb also like, Seth Rollins, congratulations on qualifying for the SmackDown King of the Ring final. Oh, life is good, Kayla. I'm sure you're aware last year, King of the Ring was gonna be my night, but things didn't end so well for me in that main event because of Cody. But this year, Cody, he ain't in the tournament. I've got to deal with LA Knight. I know these people love this guy, but this guy's not done anything to prove that he's on a level of Seth freaking Rollins. I'm a curb stomp right past him. And then we got who? Randy or Logan Paul? Kayla, this is in the bag. You may as well call me the freaking king right now. Oh. And he opens his locker room door. And Solo and Jacob Fatu have been laid out. It's like, who did this? Kayla, who did this? She's like, how would I know? He's like, trying to ruin my night, okay? I'm gonna be the king, and now this, I haven't got time to deal with this bullcrap, okay? Next week, though, is a pretty fun SmackDown. It's the go-home show for both Evolution and King of the Ring. And we've got a fun main event because We learned earlier on tonight the Fatal 4-Way for the World Heavyweight Championship at King of the Ring will be Carmelo Hayes versus Damian Priest versus Dolph Ziggler versus Ilya Dragunov. And next week, it will be the entire grand jury, being Dolph Ziggler, Damian Priest, Ken Cobain, and Emerson Frost, taking on Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, Ilya Dragunov, and a fourth partner, if they can find one, in 8-man tag team action. Speaking of tag team action, we will also see Bayley teaming up with Ruby Riott to take on Florence and Dakota Kai in tag team action. And as we also learned earlier on tonight, Dexter Lumis and Angel Garza will finally go one-on-one on next week's show. And based on the segment we saw earlier on tonight, the wild attack by Candice LeRae, she will go one-on-one with Chelsea Green on next week's episode of SmackDown. But then that's the go-home show for the two premium live events, the first being King of the Ring on next Saturday night, and we now, as we just heard, our Fatal 4-Way World Heavyweight Championship bout. Carmelo Hayes defends against Dolph Ziggler, Damian Priest, and Ilya Dragunov in a Fatal 4-Way that sure is to be one for the ages. And then, breaking news, we haven't had it announced yet, but we just got it announced now from the desk of Adam Pearce. Keith Lee is back, and he will face off with Bronson Steiner and Scott Steiner in tag team action in Rome. But it's up to Keith to find himself a tag team partner for that match. And let me talk to you, because our SmackDown final of King of the Ring is now locked in as Seth freaking Rollins takes on LA Knight in the SmackDown final. Of course, the grand final will also happen at King of the Ring between the winner of that match and the winner of Logan Paul versus Randy Orton. And we learned earlier on tonight that the kickoff show will feature Tony D'Angelo taking on Matt Riddle in Rome. And then the day after that, we have Evolution in Paris. And we've just got 2 matches announced here because most of that card has already taken shape. It's Florence, Miss Money in the Bank herself, goes one-on-one once again with Ruby Riott in Paris. And also announced for this show's kickoff show will be Violaine Martin in her home country against Indy Hartwell. And of course, the SmackDown Queen of the Ring final will feature Asuka against either Liv Morgan or Hikaru Shida. We're about to find out which in our main event up next. 78. I should have put Asuka and Lyra on last. But okay, yeah, I wanted this to be the main event because I felt like it was worthy of main eventing. Because it's got, like, the most intrigue in it, is 2 tag team partners fighting. The winner fights Asuka. And what is funny is that Liv Morgan against Asuka was Raw's Queen of the Ring final last year. And the SmackDown final was it Kairi and Utami? Yeah. So if Liv wins here, we get to run that match back on the SmackDown side this year. And the winner, and going to Evolution, it is Liv Morgan who does pick up the win in 16:37 with the Oblivion. A 76 for both women. And of course they shake hands and hug after the match. Shida raises Liv's hand to like cheer on and egg her to win Queen of the Ring. And we now know the final 4 for Queen of the Ring. From the Raw side, it will be Bianca Belair against Shayna Baszler. And from the SmackDown side, it will be Liv Morgan and Asuka, with the 2 winners facing each other in the final at Evolution. But the final segment of the night is Dolph Ziggler like on his phone in the parking lot. He's like, Ken? He picks up like, Ken, okay, big news, okay. First, I've been trying to reach DP all week, and like I still can't get to him, but I've got good news for him. He's getting a World Heavyweight Championship match at King of the Ring in Rome. You know, it's a fatal 4-way. It's me, Ilya, and then he sort of like hears like talking on the other end of the phone. He's like, yeah, me. I'm in the title match. It's me, Ilya, Mello, and Damian Priest. And then next week, all of us are teaming up to face Ilya, Mello, a Trick, and a partner of their choice. Okay, so I don't know where you've been the last 2 weeks, or this last week, but you got to be in next week. And I just want to see if we can like hash things out before it gets to it. And like he listens on the other end of the phone. He's like, great. See you next week. And he hangs up. That's how the show goes off the air. 88 rated show. Pretty good considering the main event was only a 78. But of course there was a 90 rated opening match. Yeah, a lot of developments as we build towards Evolution and King of the Ring. And we actually have a pretty stacked... Well, we don't have a pretty stacked episode of Velocity, but we've got a pretty interesting episode of Velocity because it has a Cruiserweight Championship match as Scripps defends against Young Sensei. Let's hop over to that right now. Velocity kicks off with a 78 rated banger. It's the Lady Killers against the newly formed trio of Mustafa Ali, RKJ, and Axiom. And it is the babyface trio pick up the win when Mustafa Ali pins Sid Cottrell with the 054. 89 for Mustafa Ali, 68 for RKJ, 58 for Axiom, 63 for Gregor, 40 for Sid, and a 73 for Zachary Ben-Shahar. And yeah, after the match, Ali takes the mic and he calls out there from above. He's like, you guys have been champions for a long time, and these two kids by my side, they fought for each other in a best of 3 series and really showed the world what they could both do, and now they're both ready to be champions, and with me by their side, there's nothing they can't do. The Death from Above do come out, and Cynthia's like, you want to face my boys in a trios championship match? You're on next week. It'll be you 3 against us 3 for the Cruiserweight Trios Championships. So yeah, another big title match. It'll be Axiom, RKJ, and Mustafa Ali against Metalik, Dorado, and Pistolero. A week after the Cruiserweight Championship main event. We then get a 64 rated match. Evan Bourne and Super Crazy actually do alright. Evan Bourne does win with a Here It Is driver. 68 for Evan Bourne, 43 for Super Crazy. Yeah, I've been beating Evan Bourne a lot, so give him a win here. Why not? Speaking of giving people wins, Anthony Nese is facing off with Rey Mysterio on Raw next week, so he's getting some momentum for that. He beats Tristan Ellison of MSK in 10:56 with a 450 splash. 82 for Anthony Nese, 65 for Tristan Ellison, and a 79. Anthony Nese is actually really good, and I'm glad I've found a fun gimmick for him. I like, because now he's actually getting spotlighted a bit. But our main event probably won't be as good as that, but it will be more important because it does involve My Wrestling Academia. Sensei, of course, the only person in the crew who is a cruiserweight. So nobody else can accompany them out. So it's just Scripps and Sensei one-on-one. And in the end, this 41. Probably the worst championship match we've ever booked. But it's okay. It's Sensei and Scripps. They won't get this much time if they ever have another match. It's fine. But Scripps uses that damn title belt to defeat Young Sensei. That great power, the greatest power he was talking about, he's used it to his advantage to continue his reign on top of the final hour. 68 for Scripps, 39 for Sensei. And Sensei, with no one in their corner, defeated by the dastardly villain known as Scripps here on Velocity. And that ends the show. 53, whatever, sure. What matters more is what you thought of the show, mainly of SmackDown, of course. And I'll see you next time for Raw, episode 385, which will be the go-home show for the 2 pay-per-views coming up. See you then.